We're going to quickly go through our lesson for today using just the level 1 and level 2, the first part. So we're going to be doing segment addition with just numerical values. So we're going to do segment addition postulate with just numerical values, and then we'll also jump over and do segment addition postulate with algebraic expressions. Okay, so let's turn the page. And get started. On the top here, it's just an intro or a reminder. So letter A, this is a line and can be written as EF. And if right here you want to pause the video and try to do B, C, and D yourself before I continue, you can do that. Letter B is a line segment, AB, or it could be BA. This is point G, and this is ray. This one has to be CD. It can't be DC. But all the first two could have been in different orders. Okay, we're going to jump into the segment addition part of this. And before we actually define what segment addition is, I'm going to see if you can just figure it out. So here it's asking for what is HJ. So HJ, on the picture here, H to J would be 7 plus 15, right? So we actually have an intuition about segment addition before we even define what it is. So segment addition is defined to be parts of a segment can be added together to equal the length of the whole segment. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to write out the general equation, and the reason that we're doing this now is so that when we get to proof, we are ready and prepared for what that's going to look like. So it's not necessary in this particular problem. I know the answer. The answer is 22. That's not the point, it's the process that's the point. So anytime you write out the general equation, you need to make sure that you're using letters only. Okay? And when we're talking about length, something you may have noticed here is that there is no segment bar over top of this HJ. So there's no line segment over top. And the reason is, when you're talking about length, you do not put a segment bar, because this is saying to you, how long is it, or how far from H to J. Okay, so we will not be using segment bars when we write out this general equation. So using this picture above, the general equation here would be the smaller pieces of the segment add together to equal the whole segment. So it would look like this: HK plus KJ is equal to whole thing HJ. Okay, then to actually solve this, what we're going to do is substitute those numbers in. So up above here, I was told that HK is 7. So HK is 7, so I'm allowed to substitute a 7 in here, plus. Up here, I was told that KJ is 15, so I'm going to substitute in a 15. I was not told what HJ is, so I'm going to keep it as equals HJ. Okay, and we're just learning the rules of proof so that when we get there, it's not as difficult to kind of think about and know these general notation and rule pieces. Now my final answer is HJ is equal to 22. Okay, so that seems pretty straightforward, but again, we're going to kick it up a notch in just a second. So this is, right here, what you just did is a level 1. So being able to do the general equation, substitute in the numbers, and get a final answer, that is level 1. Okay, but we are still doing segment addition. So what if I was given a problem like letter B, where I'm told that this from H to K is 17. I'm not told what K to J is, but I am told that H to J is 33. So in that case, you know that to solve this, you need to subtract, but we are still doing segment addition. So when we write out our general equation, we're still going to add the parts to equal the whole. So the parts are HK plus the other part, KJ, equals the whole. The whole is HJ. Okay, so that's what segment addition is. Substitute in the numbers. HK from up in the problem is 17. Don't be putting in things that you already know. You may know that the answer is 16 for KJ, but don't put that in, because again, we're just working through the process of when you substitute, those are the things that were given to you in the problem. Okay, now I can solve and find my answer. So if I subtract 17 from both sides, I get that KJ is equal to 16. Okay, and that gets you to your level 1. We're going to turn the page and kick it up a notch to level 2, where we actually throw in some algebra. Okay, so we haven't dealt with the midpoint piece yet, so we're not doing number 2 and we're not doing number 4 because that says midpoint. So we're just going to stay over here 1 and 3. These are our 2 examples. We're going to start with the general equation. Don't look up at this yet. Okay, not yet. We're just going to start with the general equation. The parts add up to be the whole, EF plus FG is equal to EG. Okay, now the reason. Now we didn't have to write the reason before, but the reason is segment addition. I am allowed to do this by the segment addition postulate. Okay, and eventually we will shorthand this, but for right now, we want to make sure we understand what it stands for, so segment addition postulate. Now we do the substitution and we can solve. So for EF, look up here in the problem, EF is x plus 3. So I'm going to substitute x plus 3 in for EF. Plus, now replace FG. FG is 11, so replace that with 11. Equals, and then EG. So EG in the problem here is 3x plus 2. You can pause the video again right here and try to solve this on your own, but I'm not as worried about the algebra as I am about the geometry. So up to here, that part is the geometry, that's the new part, and everything down here is just the algebra that you learned last year. So let's just combine our like terms. Subtract this 1x from both sides, get your x's together. Subtract this 2 on the back side here from both sides. And then divide by 2 to get x equals 6 for my answer. And this is actually what problem number 2 or level 2 will look like on your actual assessment that you take. Okay, one more. Same thing here, we're going to go through that same process again. We're going to do general equation. We only know segment addition postulate as of today, so that's the only reason we can put there, so that's what goes there. We'll learn another reason tomorrow with 2 more general equations, but for this one, it is just HK plus KJ equals HJ. Segment addition postulate. Okay, now we substitute it in. Now here is where you have to be a little bit careful, because on purpose I made sure that the pieces that are in the problem do not go in order of the general equation. So when I substitute in, HK is 4x plus 7. So that's not this first one. So it's not in order. So you got to find where it is so that you make sure to put it in for the right segment. 4x plus 7 plus. Now find KJ, which is 2x plus 6, equals, and then the whole thing, HJ was the first one listed, 5x plus 20. Okay, you could, again, pause the video and do the algebra on your own to see how your algebra is doing. Otherwise, I'm going to roll through it kind of quickly, so if you need to stop, rewind, and follow it again, you can. So 4 and 2 is 6 x's. 7 and 6 is 13. Just rewrite that right side. Subtract the smaller of the two x's, so minus 5x on both sides. So 6 minus 5 is 1x, plus 13 is 20, subtract 13, and you get x equals 7. Okay, I'm not going to circle that though, because that is actually not your answer. In the first problem, it said find x. In this second problem that we did, which is problem number 3, it says find KJ. Okay, this isn't a funny math joke where it says find x and then you say here it is, right? So you actually have to find the distance from k to j using the x value of 7 that we got in the problem. So kj is 2 times 7 plus 6. So that's 14 plus 6, which is 20. And please feel free to use a calculator at any time. I'm not testing your mental math, I'm testing your segment addition postulate. So KJ is equal to 20 as our final answer. Okay. On the homework, since we only did half of it today, we're doing homework number 3, problems 1 through 5, and 8. So I'll write that at the top of homework 3. Homework 3 should be right behind this packet. So those of you who are online only, if you continue flipping here, so let me get this, there we go. Okay, so those of you who are online only, it says in class 3, we just finished that, and then homework 3 is the homework for tonight. So homework 3, 1 through 5, and number 8. If you're not online only, then it is a separate packet, but it says homework 3 at the top. So 1 through 5 and 8 is the homework that goes with these notes.